The FBI says a man who attacked a flight attendant on a flight that started at DFW continued attacking law enforcement even after they yanked him off the plane. The allegation surfaced in a newly revealed court document. Fox 4's Blake Hansen spoke with a passenger who was on board that flight. Blake's at DFW Airport with the story. Blake.
As Stephen Heather, the suspect faces up to 20 years in prison if convicted. According to court records unsealed today, he did not remember what happened. Newly unsealed court documents are revealing what led to this moment Wednesday when authorities in Amarillo pulled a man off a flight from DFW to Bozeman, Montana.
My wife kind of started hitting me, saying, getting me to pay attention that something was happening.
J.P. Gallagher, an elected official in Montana, was on the flight returning from vacation in Mexico with his wife and daughter.
There was a drink cart between us and the incident, so I couldn't see a lot what was going on, but I could hear some yelling and some, cussing and the flight attendant saying stop.
According to a criminal complaint, it started when another passenger complained that Keith Edward Fagiana was kicking their chair. When a flight attendant asked him to stop, authorities say Fagiana then yelled expletives at the flight attendant and punched the flight attendant in the stomach before Fagiana got up and punched the flight attendant 3 more times. The flight attendant and passengers were then able to restrain Fagiana and place flex cuffs on him.
I was just paying attention to make sure that I didn't see or hear anything about a weapon. That was probably the most concerning thing that I had.
The flight was diverted to Amarillo, where the FBI and local police were waiting. Authorities say after they removed Fagiana, he complained to officers the flex cuffs were hurting him. And while changing out handcuffs, he kicked one of the Amarillo airport police officers in the groin area and spit on escorting officers. The FBI says Fagiana later claimed he didn't remember anything that happened on the flight and had drunk some Captain Morgans at bars in Las Vegas before the flight. Federal Aviation Administration says last year, airlines reported 45 attacks by passengers on flight attendants. The union representing Americans flight attendants saying in a statement, another flight attendant was assaulted by a customer. Our priority is to care for the affected crew member. This violent behavior must stop. Passengers say the crew acted professionally throughout the ordeal.
It's sad, but you could tell that they had training and they were ready to respond to the incident that was going on.
Fagiana is now set to make his first court appearance in Amarillo on Monday. Stephen Heather.
An 18-year-old is facing several charges after police say he drove intoxicated and hit another car, killing the person inside. Good evening. I'm Dion Anglin. Well, Jonathan Vargas is charged with intoxication manslaughter and evading arrest because he tried to run from police. Denton police say it happened early this morning on Interstate 35. Fox 4's Amelia Jones spoke with the victim's family and has more on the investigation. Amelia.
Dion, family members told us 47-year-old Douglas Gonzalez was a good person whom everybody loved. He was sitting in the back seat of the car when the crash happened. His family hopes his death brings awareness to the fact that no one should drink and drive. Denton police say around 3:15 Saturday morning, officers tried to stop a Dodge Charger that didn't have its headlights on, and that driver was weaving in between lanes. The driver didn't stop. Instead, police say he sped up to over 100 miles an hour and crashed into the back of a sedan in the southbound lanes on Interstate 35 near the Buc-ee's exit. Police say the force of the collision pushed the sedan off the interstate and onto a service road.
It just all happened so quick.
Alvaro Romero, his wife, and his brother-in-law Douglas Gonzalez were inside that sedan when the Dodge Charger crashed into them. Romero and his wife were in the front 2 seats, and Gonzalez was in the back seat.
He was sleeping on the back right behind her. On the driver's side, he had his head right exactly where the whole accident happened.
Gonzalez died in the crash. Romero and his wife were treated at a hospital and released. Police say the driver, 18-year-old Jonathan Vargas, had minor injuries from the crash that flipped his car on the interstate. He was arrested and charged with intoxicated manslaughter and evading arrest.
Young kids, they think they're Supermans. They be driving over, 100 miles an hour like they skid was, and they're hurting good people.
Romero says his brother-in-law was one of those people.
Douglas was a great guy. Like I said, I have no words for what type of person he was. He was just an amazing person.
The two recently went to El Salvador, where Gonzalez is from, to watch his favorite soccer team. The next time Romero travels there, it will be to bury his best friend.
He took away a father, a son, a husband, a friend, a brother. He put a big hole in our heart. A big hole.
He wants Gonzalez's death to be a reminder not to drink and drive.
All I can say is, if you do something, you got to stick to the consequence. And he thought that he could probably get away from the police. And it all happened so quick, and he took a big part from our family.
Gonzalez leaves behind 4 children and a wife of 20 years. Vargas is currently at the City of Denton jail, and his bond has not been set yet.
A toddler and his father were injured in a drive-by shooting in a Mesquite home on New Year's Eve.
Police are trying to find the shooter, but don't really even have a suspect description at this time. And they aren't even sure who the target was, because it seems like the father and son were innocent victims. A parked car in that same neighborhood was also hit with gunfire, but the person inside that was not hit. Fox 4's David Santendry has the shooting investigation and some surveillance video police want you to take a look at too. David.
Yeah, the 1-year-old's father was holding him when they were each grazed by the same bullet, according to his family members. It is a miracle that they're alive, but they're somewhat fearful that the shooter is still out there.
My son hold his hand and said, "Shots fired, shots fired."
Maria Ariano planned to have a safe New Year's Eve celebration with more than a dozen family members inside her Mesquite home off Springwood Drive. Instead, 2 of her family members were hit by gunfire that appears to be intended for someone else, according to Mesquite police.
I was trying to see what was going on with my son, but then I heard her saying, "The baby's bleeding, the baby's bleeding." I said, "Oh my God."
Ariano's 1-year-old grandson was shot in the head. The child's father, who was holding him, was grazed in the neck. Miraculously, the 2 survived. Police are searching for the shooter.
You can actually hurt innocent people. My boys are innocent. They had nothing to do with whatever's going on, nothing to do.
A neighbor's grainy surveillance footage released by police shows a car driving near Ariano's home around 7 p.m. Police say the driver gets out and shoots at a man in a parked car, likely with a manipulated pistol which fires in rapid succession. Police say at least 9 9mm shell casings were collected as evidence. The car was hit, but a bullet also entered Ariano's home. The man in the car was not struck. His only injuries were from broken glass.
So we were able to talk with the victim in the vehicle, and he does not know why this occurred.
A puzzling investigation because police do not know who was the target, if the shooter had the wrong target, or other possibilities.
We want to devote as many resources as we have to find out who did this so it doesn't happen again.
It has happened before, to where there's been multiple shootings just on this corner, just on this area.
Ariano has many questions.
I want answers.
For now, she knows her family's story could have been deadly.
I don't wish this upon anybody. I just want the people that do this to think about the consequences.
And of course, if you have any information on what happened and most importantly, who's responsible, you're asked to contact Mesquite Police Department. Steve, Heather, back to y'all.
All right, David Santendry live. Thank you. Arlington police are filing a more serious charge against a driver they say caused a deadly accident after a pedestrian who was injured has now died. Police say last month, 25-year-old Paula Seeley Bernal hit another car, then hit the pedestrian, that car did, and then she, the suspect, took off. Fox 4's Peyton Yeager in Arlington with a deadly hit-and-run investigation. Peyton.
Heather, and Arlington police tell us they were notified yesterday of the victim's death. So right now they are working to upgrade those charges. Meanwhile, this evening I spoke with the victim's girlfriend. She witnessed the crash and she tells us that she was barely able to get out of the way herself. Surveillance video captured the terrifying screams of Jocelyn Jean. Jean remembers hoping someone would come help her boyfriend, 44-year-old Tajuni Salami, also known as TJ, who was wedged under a vehicle unconscious.
I was there. I got pushed by the car. I fell down.
The couple was walking from their Arlington apartment to Family Dollar, less than 2 blocks away, on the night of December 18th. A quick trip to grab popcorn for movie night turned into Jean's final moments with her boyfriend.
You killed a person. You killed somebody.
Salami suffered brain damage and was kept alive by a ventilator for 2 weeks. January 1st, Salami died. Wednesday afternoon, Arlington police announced suspect Paula Selly Bernal will now face an upgraded charge of accident involving death. The 25-year-old was originally charged with accident involving serious bodily injury. Investigators say just after 9 p.m. on December 18th, Selly Bernal's Mazda hit a Honda Civic at the intersection of East Park Road Drive and Susan Drive. The impact caused the Civic to leave the roadway and hit Salami on the sidewalk. The driver of the Civic stayed on scene to call 911 and will not face any criminal charges. However, police say Selly Bernal was at fault and took off in her Mazda. Witnesses remembered her license plate and pointed police to where the Mazda was parked. Turns out Selly Bernal lives in the apartment complex where the crash took place. Wednesday, tape and a buckled brick fence are still left behind.
I'm going to miss him a lot.
A sight Jean passes by every day.
The bed is empty. Everything is empty. I took everything out and I just sleep on the couch because he's no longer here.
And according to online records, Selly Bernal, she bonded out of jail back when she was arrested in December, so she's not in jail this evening. She was appointed an attorney. He reached back out to us this evening and tells me that he has no comment right now on this case.
Overall, violent crime dropped for the 3rd year in a row in Dallas, but the number of murders in 2023 was up by nearly 15%. Dallas Police Chief Eddie Garcia says the department is analyzing the homicide data to determine strategies that can better prevent that from going forward. Fox 4's Lori Brown joins us live from the Dallas Police Department. Hi, Lori.
Hi, Clarice. There were 32 more murders in the city of Dallas in 2023 compared with 2022. Chief Eddie Garcia says the majority of the murders majority of murder victims were people that were engaged in criminal activity or some other high-risk behavior.
We talk about reduction of violent crime, but if you're a victim of violent crime, that means nothing to you, and I completely get that.
While there were 821 fewer victims of shootings in the city of Dallas last year, there was one gun crime that impacted so many who know and love an East Dallas AC repairman, Jesse Simmons.
Can I help you?
He was paralyzed after confronting a person trying to break into his work truck. He told us this when he finally returned home after spending 3 months in rehabilitation.
They're just trying to get me to be self-sufficient in a wheelchair. The community support has just been beyond anything I would have ever imagined.
No arrest has been made in the case.
This is why we all raised our right hands at one point to do this job. We take this, I know I take this personal. My heart goes out to the victim and the family for them going through it. I can tell you that our detectives work extremely hard and they won't stop working on it.
Garcia said he is thankful that overall Dallas had a drop in violent crime while many other large cities saw an increase. Aggravated assaults dropped more than 17% and robberies were down by nearly 8%, but murders were up by nearly 15%.
We know that we need to do more collectively as a community, work with our community, work with our advocates to give individuals that are otherwise be in this life of crime a better avenue and pathway to go, because it is obviously, as we see the numbers, it's not a very successful way of life.
The overall violent crime rate was down by nearly 14%.
I'm very happy and proud that for the 3rd year in a row, total violent crime again reduced almost 14%. That equates to about a little over 1,500 less victims of violent crime this year than we had the year before and then we had the year prior. So it's building on those successes.
The crime reduction plan is now in its second year. Chief Garcia says the department will continue to work on hotspot policing in areas where violent crime is concentrated, as well as a long-term plan that works to change the culture by providing resources like jobs and education. Clarice.
Lori Brown live at the Dallas Police Department. Thank you.